Okay, today we are playing a game on Ilios. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing most of the first round as Ana before changing to Moira for the rest of the game. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, D.Va, Symmetra, Doomfist, Moira, and Ana. So Doomfist Symmetra is not exactly the optimal DPS setup, I would say. If they have a Pharah, we'll be pretty upset about that one. We do at least have D.Va and Ana, so we got that going for us, but it's not what I'd consider to be ideal. Also, don't have a Zarya, and is upsetting, because Graviton's pretty strong ultimate, as Zarya is just a pretty strong hero. We also don't have a Zenyatta on our team, which is upsetting. It's a little awkward to have two main healers in general, just because that basically means you don't have a defensive ultimate, because the defensive ultimates all belong to the off healers, and if you don't have an off healer, you don't get to have one of them. And there are certain things in this game where if they happen to you and you don't have Transcendence or Sound Barrier, you just die. You just die, and there's not much you can do about that one. Whole team gets sucked into the Graviton, and they combo most any ultimate on top of you. If you don't have Transcendence, you die. And there's a good possibility you die regardless, especially since Ana's more popular now, but some response is better than no response at all. Also, Ana is kind of an awkward hero to pick with this team comp because we don't have a particularly good nano boost target on our team. The best we've got are Reinhardt and D.Va, and, you know, Reinhardt's okay if he can get in there and the enemy team isn't so mobile as to just leave him behind, and D.Va's also okay. But there's no, like, really big combo in there, so really we'll probably end up using nano boost just to keep people alive more than anything else with this comp, because there's no, like, big money combo ultimate to be had in here. And I mean, you can just use Nano Boost to save people now, ever since they buffed it, but ideally we also have somebody we can combo with that will, like, wipe the enemy team. Anyway, so let's start the game. So we're on Lighthouse first, which isn't an incredible Pharah map, so there's some hope there. We are at least playing Ana, so we can try and bully them around. We do bully a few people around as Ana in this round. So they've got a Mei. We've seen some icicles sticking out of the wall. We've also learned they have a Doomfist. Doomfist's quite upsetting to Ana because you can just kind of get fucked up by Doomfist as Ana, and there's not necessarily much you can do about it. So Reinhardt got walled off by Mei over there, but as we see, Mei died to Reinhardt. So she's probably pretty stoked about that. Now, Reinhardt is in the middle of the enemy team after that, though, because he went real fucking far to make that one happen. So, he's not super long for this world. So, we go real far in to the enemy team right here, and I know that part of this is because we're trying to get over to Reinhardt to keep him alive, but he dies here. Sorry, I banged the table. And then we keep going forward anyway, so we definitely won't miss D.Va now, but we're also in a pretty exposed location because think about where we are. We're just kind of in the middle of the open courtyard and there isn't really a lot for us to use as cover in the nearby area. We got the pillar right here, and that's basically it. All other cover we have to go pretty far backwards to actually get to. And the enemy team is kind of like right here. And they've got some divey boys because Genji's also over there as well. So we've come too far forward. One of the benefits of Ana is that she can heal from quite far away, because she's a sniper. Fortunately, Genji just completely ignores us. He just, like, goes after D.Va, and they don't try to kill us in general at all, so that's pretty sick. Very obliging of them. So here we hold on to the grenade for too long, because I'm going to throw the grenade at this boy, like, immediately. He's not looking at me. The grenade's going to basically kill him. If it doesn't outright kill him, he's going to be at, like, 1 hit point and purple, so he's definitely going to die when the grenade hits him. And I'll just take the free kill on Genji, basically. And then we just hold on to it for too long, and then we throw it at the deflect, and we get nothing out of it. Just, like, throw it at the side of him, if nothing else, at least, like. This is the thing with deflect. If you have an AoE weapon, you can still fuck Genji up. Got a flashbang, just throw it to the side of him or above him. Bam, he's dead. Pharah, just aim at his feet. Got a grenade, just aim at his feet. Easy, he can't deflect it. Or you have to aim at the ground next to him. If you aim at his feet, he'll still deflect it. Anyway. And then you really tilt the Genji because the Genji's like, but I was deflecting. That means I can't die right now. I don't understand. I do remember seeing this GIF a while ago of a Genji, and it was D.Va for a self-destruct down in front of Genji. Genji, nano-boosted, starts deflecting at the self-destruct, and just doesn't die, just doesn't take any damage, even though he's, like, touching the mech when it's exploding. And I know you're probably thinking, well, it must have been like a Zarya bubbled him or something at the last second, and that's why he lived. No, because it was, like, set up, right? Because it was to show that this happened, so it was just like a custom game, like regular stats and everything. Just, they threw the ult down in front of Genji, deflected, nano boost, just didn't die. It has to have been a bugged interaction, something about deflect and the damage reduction, just like not quite cooperating with the game or something, but it was pretty serious, like, just like touching the nuke. No damage, doesn't die. Anyway, so Symmetra was up there. She was up to some shit over there as well. Now she's dead, so she'll be up to no more shit anytime soon. So we've got Nano Boost. That's cool. Most of our team's dead, so we won't be getting anywhere anytime soon. We should not come up to do this, because doing that did absolutely nothing. We've got our ultimate right now, so doing damage results in us gaining nothing. We just used a 10-second cooldown for no reason. Like, we're not getting ult charge off of it, and that boy being purple, it's not going to convert into anything because we're regrouping right now. So all we did was expose ourselves to the enemy team, risk getting picked off, and use our quite long cooldown ability for no reason. Be careful when you shoot at a Genji, because he does have deflect like that. So there's an argument to be made for nano boosting Moira right here, seeing as she's using Coalescence, and that's kind of one of the the only real combo we've got on our team as far as ultimates go. But we're still regrouping, so it's not great. And, you know, in that situation, you either trank the Genji or you die. That's basically how it is. And it's kind of that way, where there are a few ultimates where there isn't a lot you can do other than pray. You can, if Genji's coming out with you with a Dragon Braid, you hope you hit him. And then follow up to that, you hope that your team doesn't immediately wake him up afterwards as well. Doomfist's ulting at you, you just die. Like, there's not a lot you do about that one. So we do have a Winston on our team now. Winston's a pretty good nano boost target because he goes in there. He's suddenly real hard to kill, and he's going to kill somebody pretty quick while he's nano boosted. So we've nano boosted Winston. He's going in, he's going to kill Genji. We did go, like, quite far ahead of our team right here. It's probably to follow the Winston, but the Winston was full health and nano boosted, so their team doesn't exactly, like, tear it up DPS-wise. Their Doomfist is dead right now, so it's like, Mei and Genji are not going to pose significant risk to the Winston, so we don't have to, like, run after him to try and keep him alive. We could just stay back and position more conservatively. So Symmetra's put her barrier down, so now we can play around this, which will make us quite obnoxiously difficult to kill. We are going to now bully Moira to death, and the Moira on our team has changed to Bridget at this point. Doomfist managed to kill D.Va. Looks like he'll cut her off the edge, so that's very upsetting. And it's alright though, because we're going to get Vengeance right here. Hit him and us with the grenade, and then, bam, he's dead. So we managed to bully, like, 2 out of 6 of their team to death ourselves, so they're probably pretty stoked about that one. And then we got finished off by Mei. So go back, as soon as YouTube wants to cooperate with us. There we go. So we've seen where Mei is. We saw that Mei was over on the staircase over there. And we continued going towards Mei, because we've seen that she's over on the staircase to the right of us by this point. And then we just keep, yeah, there, she's jumping over the pots right now. And then we just, like, walk sideways into the Mei, and we could have just stayed on the objective, played more cautiously. Or, if we knew she was coming, we could try and trank her, because Mei, she's a pretty big DPS, you know, DPS, she's a pretty big lady. She's thick, as the kids call it these days, so she wouldn't be particularly hard to trank, and we had it off cooldown, so I assume we just didn't notice Mei at the time, but we did see her off in the periphery, and we just didn't play around her. So now we've changed to Moira, which is fair enough. We don't have a super good nano boost target. We got Winston, who is okay, but we still, like, you know, we'd mostly be using nano boost, to keep people alive. There we go. Elevator music was playing in my mind. Now, the argument against Moira is that we kind of have a dive comp at this point, because we've got Winston, D.Va as our two tanks. They're going to be diving in. And, you know, our DPS aren't exactly dive DPS, but Moira has trouble keeping up with dive heroes, because she usually has to use Fade to keep up with them, and when you use Fade to keep up with your team, that means you can't use it to get away, which makes you quite easier to kill. So that would be the argument against Moira. She doesn't work super well with dive teams in general. And now we're going to be getting bullied to death by Mei right there. We didn't have Fade, so that's how it is. The best hero for dive comps, usually main healer-wise, is Mercy. Just because the more mobile your team is, the more mobile Mercy is by extension. And GA is a better cooldown than Fade when you need to reposition quickly, because Fade has a 6-second cooldown, whereas GA has like a 2-second cooldown, right? I think? Yeah, real fucking short. So you can use it to keep up with the dive comp and keep yourself safe, whereas if you have to use Fade to keep up with your team, that's a 6-second cooldown. Moira is mad easy to kill when Fade is on cooldown. But by the same token, this is a King of the Hill map, where fights are usually more sporadic and spread out, so it ends up being less of an issue so much here, because there's usually less of a consolidated team effort to kill people. What I'm basically saying is King of the Hill turns into deathmatch quite frequently. So Doomfist, fortunately enough, killed himself, which is very convenient for us. Moira, like, it is easy for us to avoid the majority of their team as Moira. It's just the issue is going to be keeping our team alive while also staying safe. But we won that round. Does it? Easy peasy. Doesn't matter. Easy clap. So now we're going on to Ruins. Nope, we're going on to Well next. Okay. So now we have Triple Tank, and the other healer is changed to Mercy. So, and we're not going to do a lot of damage at all. That's the issue with our current team comp right here, is that we do, like, no damage. Because we got Symmetra, who's, like, middling DPS if we're feeling generous. We got Winston, doesn't do a lot of damage. D.Va can do a lot of damage. And then we got Roadhog, who does okay damage. So, we don't even have a Zenyatta to, like, increase our DPS by proxy. That's not how you use that turn of phrase right there, but, you know, whatever, that's fine. English language is fucked up anyway. So I'd expect to have issues with this team comp just because we don't do a lot of damage. And their team was kind of hard to kill in general, right? They had a Mei Doomfist and all that, so they had people that are difficult to kill if you don't do a lot of damage or have a lot of burst damage. Winston did change to Orisa, which makes it easier. So we know they have a Mei, so doing this, going all the way over here is really risky because fortunately Mei's already used her wall. If Mei hadn't used her wall, we could have died right there, because she could have just walled us off and we wouldn't be able to fade away. So going over there by ourselves is very risky because, well, fuck, what if Mei pops out and walls us off? Fade doesn't get you through the wall, tragically. So our Roadhog's been hooked into the pit. D.Va's dead, got killed by Moira, so we're down 2 people already, so things are not looking particularly good right now. Orisa did manage to kill Mei, so there's that. It is rather difficult for them to walk up and kill us with this team composition, because we've got a lot of healing with Moira and Mercy over here, and they have to move into Symmetra and Orisa, which is difficult if they don't have a shield. Now, however, if stuff like this happens, that makes it significantly easier for them to kill our team. But, assuming our team don't get picked off like a bunch of fucking lemmings, then it'll be difficult for them to advance into us, which is the general benefit of Orisa, is that it's hard to advance into her usually. So Symmetra just wasted her ultimate right there, seeing as our whole team was basically dead at that point. So, good job, Symmetra. It's hard to get that much value out of Symmetra's ultimate unless you're fighting specific team compositions, which they don't have right now, which basically means they have to be like semi-long range at least. They got May Doomfist. They aren't going to be too upset if the wall is in the way. So we did manage to pick off Doomfist right there, which is nice. Unfortunately, Roadhog's getting picked off right now, but I thought he was going to live. I thought we were going to do it. Nope. Because they like once their Doomfist is dead, it's difficult for them to kill people as well because they have a low damage team composition as well. Oh, we have a Reaper on our team now. That's a significant improvement. So I thought Roadhog might do it, but he did not. He did not. So that's a fair enough time to use Coalescence. Unfortunately, we end up not getting a lot of value out of it. Because we do want to have, like, we're having a team fight now. That's what's happening at this point. We were down, no, I was going to say we're down 2 people. One of the people that was down got rest, so we were not down 2 people. It's fair enough. It's just, unfortunately, their Moira has Coalescence up as well, so we just kind of end up breaking even. And then their team ends up doing more damage than our team. Because their Doomfist is here. He got back in time to start fighting. And, Reaper almost died. He did get punched by the other black man, but he managed to live. So Mercy's dead. Gotta wait for her to get back. Fortunately, it's well, so it's not exactly hard for her to get back quickly. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out math-wise, because that bounced back out at us, correct? Yep, He would have, well, he might have lived if that orb got to him. He did have the damage orb and... What does the damage orb and the drain do? That does 76 damage, and the healing orb is 75 healing per second. So no, he would have still died, probably, because he was really low health. Well, I mean, he has to live like a little bit longer for us to get to him, though. He might have lived. It would have been close. If the orb got to him, it still would have been close. Anyway, whatever. You know, the math didn't quite work out. Math is hard. I understand. So Roadhog's using the Rudy Tooty Whizbang Shooty over there, which is good and all, but Mercy's getting bullied to death behind us by May. She's using Valkyrie, and she still died to this, which is very upsetting to me. Because she could have just... Well, okay, she was rezzing somebody. She could have been higher while she was rezzing the person, though. It looks like she was real close to the ground. Mercy, why you bad? Did she ult after she tried to res that person? Did she ult in response to getting frozen? Because she's not ulting right there. Hold on. When did she ult? Let me put the other ear on so I can hear when she ulted. Yeah, she ulted, like, right there. Like, as she's being frozen by May. She's like, fuck, I gotta get out. Don't do that. Like, it's probably... If you're about to get frozen... Ulting as Mercy is probably not going to keep you alive, because the headshot's going to do most of the damage. Like, you're going to die still, unless you manage to get away from the freeze, but she wasn't going to get away from being frozen by that point, so... Mercy's bad, is the moral of the story right there. So, this round... Wow, it is Sim fault. We got bigger problems than Symmetra, honestly. Like, people just kept getting picked off. We don't even have a Symmetra anymore. So it would be difficult for it to be Symmetra's fault at this point, but you know. Whatever. 6.5 healing is kind of low for being 2 rounds into a King of the Hill match, but shit's been kind of fucked up. So now we like fully have a dive comp at this point. So this is where I would change to Zenyatta, because we've got Mercy as the main healer. And we've basically got a dive comp. Moira can't really keep up with a dive comp. There's an argument to be made for Ana at this point, because now we have nano boost targets, because both of the tanks are decent nano boost targets, and Reaper is... You can combo Death Blossom and nano boost pretty good, and you can combo Barrage and nano boost as well. So now we have, like, 2 consistently decent targets, and then 2 good ult, or at least 2 decent ult combos to go with as well. So, there's an argument to be made for Ana there, seeing as it's now evened out a bit more. Also, Ana can keep these two divey boys alive easier. But then also, like, I'd go with Zenyatta because we got, like, a dive comp at this point. Reaper's not exactly a fast boy, but he's going to be in there flanking and all that. And we've got diving, and flanking. So I'd probably go Zenyatta at this point. Well, okay, I personally would continue playing Bridget, but Zenyatta would be the best team composition-wise right now. There's a question in the email today. It's basically about team composition, so that's the answer for the third round right there. So they've still got the same team composition. Why wouldn't they? It worked for them in the last round pretty well, so why would they change? Also, the one dude's been Mei 2 rounds, so that's clearly just what he does. So we don't really want to be on the point, if at all possible, because the point on Ruins is very scary. And it's the same reason the point on Ilya on Sanctum is scary in Nepal as well. Like, think about the objective, it's literally a box inside of another box. So if you're standing in this box, you can be threatened from literally every angle around you. Every angle around you is also on high ground, and you only have limited ways to get out of the pit, because you can only go up, up, and up. And, like, you don't want to be going into the enemy side of the map, usually, so you've only really got, like, 1 or 2 ways to get out of the objective. So you're just sitting in a pit, threatened from all directions, they've got high ground advantage on you, and you've got limited ways out of the pit if you don't have vertical mobility. So we don't really want to stand on the objective on Ruins, if at all possible. We'd like to avoid it as much as possible. Same with Sanctum. Standing on the objective is just scary on that map as well for the same reasons, but it also has a death drop right next to it, so it's even scarier. And less ways to get off the map, because it's just got the 2 ramps on the sides. Just like a general thing in general is what I was about to say, so that's great English right there. Some good advice in general is, if you're not playing a tank, if you're a DPS or a healer, you want to avoid standing on the objective as much as is physically possible, because the objective is where the most enemy focus is going to be put on. And you as a DPS or a healer like to avoid that as much as possible. If you're like a diving DPS, then, you know, whatever, you're going to end up going in there and fighting it. But if you're like Soldier, you know, McCree, try to avoid standing on the objective. If you're a healer, try to avoid standing on the objective. That's what the tanks are for. Now, there are times you'll have to go and stand on the objective. You can't just completely avoid it. Like, if you're going to lose the round, then you got to go stand on the objective. If you need to stand on the objective to heal somebody, you know, go stand on the objective. Don't, like, never step on it, because that's advice you can take too far in the opposite direction. You do have to stand on the objective sometimes, but try to avoid standing on it as much as possible if you're a healer or a DPS, because that's just the scariest place to stand. And if it's like this map, you've got limited ways to get out of it as well. So we faded on to the objective, so we faded, like, real close to the enemy team, which is scary. You know, if you're going to fade forward aggressively, you've got to be pretty sure you're not going to get punished for it. There's a Mei down here, so it's pretty easy to get punished for this one. And, like, we faded over here to try and keep D.Va's mech alive. I'm not super excited about that one, honestly. What we could have done, I think instead, what we could have done, yeah, so, if we're super concerned about D.Va, rather than fading into the pit to try and heal these boys, we could just fade out. We can jump over here. You know, if you use fade, like, it's not even a particularly fancy fade jump. You can literally just jump the gap from corner to corner over there. And then we can get up here and heal D.Va from up on the high ground. And then Mei is much less scary to us because she's down here. So she can't fight us super well on the high ground unless she's going to, like, wall up to us. But, like, she probably won't do that. So if we go up here, we're just safer in general. We'll also be going away from Winston, because we can see Winston's right here. We can see Roadhog's down here. And we don't know how healthy they are right now. If we fade over here, we are now then next to Mei. Winston's right here. Roadhog's right here. So that's a scary place to stand. We're fading right into all of these people, and then fade's going to be on cooldown, because we used it to go in. The orb's on cooldown as well, so we can't even use that to heal ourselves. So this is like a very scary place to fade to. If we're super concerned about keeping D.Va alive, we can just do it from up here instead and be way less at risk than if we fade over here. So, come on, YouTube. So, this is, we tuck into this corner over here, and they just kind of don't focus us, which is very convenient, very obliging of them to not try and kill us right there, and then we kind of just get to shuffle off of the objective. There are like 1,000 ways we get punished for what we did over there, but we did just manage to get away with it. So that's great. Don't get punished, don't have to learn. So we do have Coalescence built up now. Got punched by Doomfist, but there wasn't a wall, so no big deal. Here comes Doomfist again. And up, he's got Dragon Strike, not Dragon Strike, Meteor Strike, that's the one. We got too many strikes in this game. Mercy died, and then Reaper also died to Road. Oh, don't do that. Don't fade after Doomfist. You don't kill Doomfist 1v1 as Moira. It just doesn't happen. He doesn't necessarily kill you, but I mean, he definitely can. He's gonna have to fuck up pretty hard for you to kill him. You only have to minorly fuck up for Doomfist to kill you, so do not fade after Doomfist like that. Unless he's, like, basically dead, in which case, okay, fair enough. But, like, he was a healthy boy still at that point. It's, just like Bearbin, just like think about it math-wise, right? Moira does 50 damage per second, Doomfist has 250 health without discounting any shields. That takes 5 seconds to kill him. It wouldn't take that long, because you can, like, punch the last little bit off of him, and you can use the orb as well if the geometry is convenient. That'll end up doing a fair bit of damage, but, like, Moira doesn't kill people particularly quickly. You gotta just think about it, like, math-wise. It takes Moira 4 seconds to kill a 200 health hero. So, you gotta be careful about who you decide that you're gonna fade after aggressively, if you want to duel them. Granted, Moira's, like, difficult to kill. So, like, if you fade after, like, a Genji, it's not unimaginable the Genji just doesn't kill you. Because you can be fading, and you've got fade, you can heal off of draining him and the healing orb, so it makes it difficult for him to kill you unless he's got really good aim. That's fair enough. Someone like Doomfist McCree, they can just burst you to death, like, relatively easily, so they're riskier people to try and fight. Soldier, as well, the Helix Rocket and all that. But someone like Genji, Tracer, it's rather hard for them to kill you unless they execute quite well. Because just like the healing orb is 75 health per second, and then you heal 33 off of the drain as well. So that's like over 100 health per second that you're regenerating. That's a lot of health. They have to be pretty decent to kill you if they're a relatively execution-heavy hero like Genji. So, most of our team is here all together right now, so it's fair enough time to use Coalescence. Everybody's very spread out, which makes it difficult to really get any kind of, like, good angle with Coalescence, because the idea with Coalescence is to hit as many people on both teams as possible. It's rather difficult to do that from the position everybody was in. So, yeah, we end up getting, like, about as much of it, much as we could do. So we've faded a very bad direction right here because the epicenter of the blizzard is right here. So we've got to, like, travel across the entire blizzard to get to safety. Fade doesn't quite get there. Mostly because there's an incline here. Because it would work out, I think, if you could, like, hop at the end of this and actually get out, but it doesn't quite work out. It's better to fade up the ramp behind us right now. And that is fading, like, closer to their side of the map, but most of them are dead right now. So it's not that scary. It's just, like, we've got to cover basically the entire blizzard circumference to get to the other side of it. It's easier. It's going to be more consistent to just fade up the ramp behind us to get out that way. And then we end up moving backwards into it as well. We might have just about made it out if we didn't start walking backwards into it. Yeah. It would have been easier to just fade up the ramp behind us. Well, I guess not necessarily easier, seeing as we were, like, facing away from it. We'd have to, like, do a little bit of angling to get onto it, but I mean, it would have been more consistent go up the ramp behind us. So we've managed to get back to this fight in time. This is potentially the last fight for us, so we really don't want to lose. Fortunately, Winston's got Primal Rage, so we definitely won't be losing anytime soon. D.Va managed to kill 2 people with self-destruct. 3 of them are dead at this point, and then bam, the rest of them are dying as well. So, easy clap. So they have a Widowmaker now. I just saw right there, correct? Fuck, where's the arrow key? Yeah, that was a Widowmaker right there. What's their team comp right now? So someone might change when they die, which is, you know. But they've only got 1 tank now. They got Widowmaker, but it's suddenly become a lot easier to get picked off. Hopefully, our 2 dive tanks, one of them hopefully will be diving Widowmaker, so that'll be less of an issue. But we now have to be aware that they have a Widowmaker, so we have to be careful where we're standing. This is a very scary place to be standing because they have a Widowmaker, and we're very far up. They also have, like, Mei and Doomfist still, so it's very easy to get picked off by their team. Like, if you're out of position, you get killed versus their team comp. So we gotta be careful where we're standing. Basically, we want to stay, like, in the pillars as much as possible, because there's stuff blocking Widowmaker everywhere. So, I probably would have just used Coalescence right there, honestly. Seeing it, because, like, would I have? Yeah, I would have done it, because both teams are very bunched up together right now, and, like, at this point, we're more or less invested in a team fight. Everybody's, like, posturing right next to each other. People already got killed and being rezzed in front of each other. Everybody's really grouped up on both teams, and there's this narrow funnel right here, so it'll be quite easy to hit a lot of people with it. Even if the fight goes backwards that way, then that's still, like, a good angle to get to get most people on both teams with, so I'd probably just use Coalescence right now. And just try to, like, keep the momentum going forward right here. So we decide to use it regardless. The fight's in a slightly less convenient angle at this point because now we've ended up getting pushed a little bit back onto the objective, so the angle was slightly less good by that point. That's a fair enough, like, aggressive fade after that boy. Seeing as he was mostly dead, I would have done the exact same thing. Unfortunately, their Moira appears to keep him alive. We didn't know Moira was in the air. Like, I would have done it as well. Like, I would have done it as well. I would have actually been more aggressive about it, because you want to try and melee the last little bit of health off of them, if at all possible. Because it's just, you kill them slightly faster than draining them, and it can help overcome, like, healing like this. Because if we did out like this boy, I'm pretty sure that's 25, like, I'm pretty sure that's meleeable range right there. So if we were in melee range a little bit sooner, we could have done it, because we faded a little bit off to the side, rather than, like, straight at this boy, correct? Yeah, like, if we faded, like, straight at him, we could have been in punching range sooner, and I think we might have just barely killed him. He died regardless, so it didn't matter, but, you know, there's a world where that boy gets away, and I don't want to be in that world. So then we got killed by Reaper. We had Fade, correct? Fade was off cooldown when that started happening? Yes. Would have to react quite quickly, but there was time in there to react to Reaper. We saw him before he shot us, and then it took 2 shots to kill us, so there was time in there to react, we just didn't react in time. You gotta be ready to push that button at a moment's notice, especially if you're playing against, like, a Reinhardt, because you can avoid Earth Shatter with it, but you gotta be, like, ready for it. So they don't have a Widow anymore, don't have to worry about that. They don't have Mei anymore either, so we don't have to worry about that either. We're not usually super concerned about Mei as Moira because we have Fade, but if we end up in a position where we can get cut off, then, you know, you can't fade through the wall. So it does minorly matter. Someone like Reaper, that can't happen. Less of a big deal. So right now, Zarya is shooting at somebody other than us at high charge. We should look back and see what's going on over there, because she does actually kill Pharah behind us. Mercy's dead right now. Mercy ain't going to be healing that person. She's like, if she's ignoring us, she's hitting somebody else. So we should at least look back and see what's going on back there, because she does end up dying behind us. And at this point, didn't fade away from the hook. Tragic. At this point, like, we're pretty fucked, actually, because they're all there, and we just had a bunch of people get picked off right next to each other. Dude just changed to Lucio right there to try and get back faster. Because at this point, like, we just gotta get back there faster. A bunch of people got picked off, and then their team was all there, all grouped up. 2 people died, Far died, more people died, we died. Tragic. We're gonna lose. Got Coalescence right as we died. Very tragic. We see played the game? Yeah, we see played the game. Who would've got it? Reaper? No, it was Diva. Diva only got 2 people with a self-destruct, didn't she? No, I guess you got credit on those as well. Fair enough. I was peeling for my healers. I don't feel like that was really happening. But I guess I wasn't really paying attention either at the same time. So let's go over to the email. Let's see. So, was this loss in my ability to change, or were we destined to fail? So, no, I don't think you do anything about this, because, like, well, okay. I was going to say because of the fight right at the end, like, a bunch of people got picked off, which you only have limited ways to stop as Moira. But, I guess, you know, focusing on the last mistake isn't the best thing to do. No, I don't think so. I don't think we changed the outcome of this game. Because, like, the second round we lost handedly, right? Like, it was 0 to 100% capture-wise. So, there's, like, I don't think we do anything about that one. The first round we won regardless. Third round, we didn't play perfectly, but, like, the main reason we lost that round is because a bunch of people got picked off when they were at 99%. So, I don't think we stopped that one as Moira, or as a healer in general. Because could a Zenyatta have saved it? A Zenyatta might have been able to save the third round, because if we had Transcendence, we might have kept those people alive, but the way they got picked off, I don't think we would have even ended up using Transcendence either, so no. I don't think it happens unless we did so. Like, we would have had to have used Transcendence kind of weirdly on the third checkpoint, because we would have had to have been like, we would have had to have noticed a couple of people were going to get picked off and then use Transcendence to save them. It wouldn't be a super intuitive way to use Transcendence, so no, I think we probably lose this game regardless. Because the second round, there's like no way, no way. Was there another pivotal team fight that might have been changed as Zenyatta? Did we lose the fight with the Blizzard on it? Did we lose that fight? Where the Blizzard happened? Where was that? That's the start of the round. It was like part way through. Where was that? Where was that fight? Oh, that was it right there, wasn't it? I think Blizzard was happening. Was it this team fight? I think it was this team fight. Was it this team fight? No, it wasn't this team fight, was it? God damn it. No, it was not this team fight. Did we win or lose that team fight? I don't remember, even though it happened like less than 10 minutes ago. Here? No, it wasn't here. Was it further up? No, it was further back. This team fight? This team fight here? This is, I know, what a professional operation we run around here, huh? Where the fuck was this team fight? It was... Is it back here? Yes, here it is, here it is. Did we lose this team fight, or did we win regardless? I mean, we had to have won, because otherwise we would have lost the round here, I suppose. Would have been easier to win with a Zenyatta, but we won this team fight regardless, because otherwise we would have lost right there, wouldn't we? So, you know, Zenyatta might have turned it around, but I doubt it. What a professional operation we run around here, Jesus fucking Christ. And then the other question is, should I have stayed on Ana, or was swapping to Moira a better decision? Why? So there's an argument for and against it, because the argument against Moira is that it's harder to heal a dive comp, which is what we had partway by the time we changed to Moira. So, and somebody else was already playing Mercy, so that would be the argument against Moira, is that she isn't great with dive comps. In which case, you know, given the other person, no, well, the first round they were playing Bridget, but then they were playing Mercy after that. So, you know, Zenyatta, well, but in the second round, we had 3 tanks, didn't we? No, Zenyatta would have still been better, really. Because, like, the thing is with the second round as well, is that we had such a low damage team composition that Zenyatta would have made it easier to kill the enemy team, so it would have still been better there. Yeah, there's an argument for and against Moira. So, the argument against is that she's bad with dive comps. But the argument for Moira is that she is much more survivable than Ana and Zenyatta is, because they've got no mobility. So if they get caught, they kind of fucking die. And they were playing a pretty aggressive team comp most of the way through, because they had Doomfist most of the way through, Mei most of the way through. Like, if you get caught by Mei as Zenyatta or Ana, you probably die. Ana can trank the Mei and all that, but if you get caught by Mei, you're quite likely to die as both of those people, whereas Moira probably gets away. So there's an argument for and against it. The third round, I think we definitely should have gone Zenyatta, just because it made so much more sense team composition-wise. And on Ruins, it's not so hard for Zenyatta to stay far away from the enemy team, because you can just hang out on your side of the objective, and they have to come pretty far to get to you. So I think the third round, it would have been better to play Zenyatta than Moira, especially since the other healer was Mercy, and we were playing like a full-on dive comp by that point as well, whom Zenyatta has always been good with. I suppose there's also an argument for Lucio, because Lucio is another hero that is traditionally good with dive comps, but I just like Zenyatta more than Lucio. I think Lucio is the worst of the healers right now, which isn't really Lucio's fault. Like, there's nothing really wrong with Lucio, it's just the other healers are better. Like, Sound Barrier is not as good of a defensive ultimate as Transcendence is. You can make an argument, seeing as Ana's so much more popular right now. But, like, in terms of their utility, I would rather have the Discord Orb than the Speed Boost, because the Speed Boost is kind of reliant on your team being somewhat together and coordinated, especially since it's a small area that it's effective in. Whereas the Discord Orb is just like, that boy, that Winston, that Mercy, whatever you've put it on, they're just mad squishy now. So that doesn't take a lot of coordination from your team to get value out of. So I think Zenyatta would have been better. Third round. First round, there was an argument for and against Moira and Ana. Basically revolving around being bad with dive comps versus being harder to kill yourself personally. But they never really pressured us at the same time. Like, a lot of we were out of position a few times, but they just, like, didn't do anything to us. So there's an argument for or against it, but I think Zenyatta would have been the best choice third round. Anyway, so Jesus Christ, what a rambling, incoherent point that was. Jesus fucking Christ. Thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your emails, and if you felt I answered your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know, and I will try to expand further. And I hope you found the video helpful. That was a bad video, Jesus Christ.